know what would make that better? A cup of White Cane coffee.
Wow, that really is great coffee.
White Cane coffee, because every cup makes a difference.
It's not just about music lessons. It's about hard work, perseverance, dedication, self-expression, making memories. Let's make memories together.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome into the cafe as White Cane Coffee presents Coffee and a Conversation live from the White Cane Coffee Cafe on this Saturday. It's a little overcast to start the day, but should be a beautiful one here in Warren County as the day progresses. The cafe is open in the plaza across from Tops. Stop on in, get yourself a fresh cup. Got me some Dragon's Roast here this morning. A cinnamon roll or scone. They now have Danishes available as well. And don't forget to join the White Cane Coffee Mug Club. Come in, buy yourself an engraved tumbler, get the tumbler filled, and then when you bring it back, 50% off refills in the White Cane Coffee Mug Club. If you can't get down to White Cane Coffee, that's no problem. They're also available on DoorDash. Place your order, have your favorites delivered right to your door. You can also order your favorite roast or brew at home online at whitecanecoffee.com. And today, the coffee bus will be out at Jake's Rocks, serving their delicious coffee and baked goods for the folks out there as well. And this is a special Ask Me Anything edition of Coffee and a Conversation. So if you have questions, burning questions about the region, things happening in and around Warren and Forest counties, questions about the news industry, pretty much anything is about off limits. Go ahead and submit your questions in the comments, and I will do my best to get them answered here on the air before we go off the air. So again, just if you're watching live either on Facebook or YouTube, just submit a question in the comment section there. We'll do our best to answer. You could also send us a message on Facebook or email news@yourdailylocal.com. And we are always happy to take any questions that people have, even beyond the Ask Me Anything editions of Coffee and a Conversation. So let's get right into it. Got a question, well, a series of questions actually from Chris Stearns. And so the first question she said is, what has been the most enjoyable online newspaper? Personally, for me, it's been really getting out into the community and just engaging with folks. You know, as a sports reporter, you do that, but it's limited, you know, really to a certain group, a certain audience. You know, you see coaches and athletes all the time, and obviously the parents of those athletes are there frequently as well. So you get to know them very well. But now being out and covering the hard news gives me a chance to go out and really interact with pretty much everyone in the community and get to know them, get to know their thoughts and feelings on things, you know, where they see the community headed socially, economically, etc., and really get a feel for what the pulse of the community is and how it's operating. And that makes it easier to an extent to do our jobs, because then, you know, we know better what's important to people, what we need to go out and cover, and how people are taking in that information. Are they reading it? Would they prefer to view it? Do they want to listen to it? You know, do they want it to be more photo involved? So that's really been the most enjoyable part for me, is just getting out into the community, meeting people, engaging with people. You know, I've had a chance to meet a whole lot of people that I would not have met had we not doing this digital only news format. And so to go along with that, Chris then asked, what's been the most challenging part? is really getting people to understand who we are and what we do. You know, digital media is not a new concept. Digital news service serving Warren County is a brand new concept. Um, you know, for ever, people primarily got their news in print. You know, some would listen, you know, I growing up always listened to Whipple in the mornings, mostly to see if school was going to be closed that day for snow. But you know, and a lot of people, that was their habit. You get up and turn on the radio, and you'd have Dave Whipple's voice coming in and bringing you some news and information. And obviously, you know, folks will watch the television news out of Erie, but again, it's not hyper local in the way that we're trying to be hyper local. We will occasionally post stories that are present a statewide or a national view, but those are rare. That's not really what we're doing. It's not what we're trying to do. And getting people to understand that, yes, you can come onto our site and it's free, and you can read the news just the same way that you would pick up a newspaper, or you can view one of these shows much in the same way that you would, you know, click on your morning television news. You can listen to the things that we're doing online as well. And so the most challenging part has really just been, you know, getting out there, getting ourselves introduced to people, and letting people know who we are and how it works. You know, that's been a challenge on the business side as well, as, you know, explaining again, digital advertising is a fairly new concept here in Warren County, from the standpoint of it being done by a local media outlet. You know, if you go down, you know, there's places, Clarion County's had digital media for a long time. Venango County's had it. You know, a lot of places have had digital only outlets for decades. And we didn't have one until September of 2020. And so it's the challenge has been getting people to really understand what it is that we're doing, what it is that we're trying to do, and how it benefits, you know, the community, how it benefits their business from a sales standpoint. That's been the biggest challenge, though. Once people come to us, it seems for the most part that they're sticking with us, and we absolutely appreciate that. Appreciate everybody who's turned to Your Daily Local for their source of news here in Warren and Forest counties, and we hope more people are finding us and checking us out and giving us a chance and sticking with us as well. But yeah, so that's been the most challenging part, is just again the understanding of who we are and what we do and why and how it benefits the community. So do we have an app yet? No, we do not have an app yet. We've discussed there are cost-effective ways of doing it, but those ways don't necessarily give the functionality that we would like to have in a mobile app. And we found that a lot of the places that would develop an app for us that would have all the functionality that we would want, that we think our readers would want, is just a little bit cost prohibitive at this point in time. But down the line, certainly wouldn't rule it out. Again, like I said, we've looked into it on several occasions just to see where things are at in the app world, because there's certain things that you have to do in order to make sure the app is available on Google Play and in the Apple Store and things of that nature. And our basic philosophy from day one has been that if we can't do it right, we're not going to do it. You know, and we've built upon that, and we've done some things, experimented with some things that didn't really work out, but we were able to do it one time and maybe learn a lesson and get it fixed. And an app is something we just don't want to roll out, you know, half-assed, so to speak, and have it not be a quality product and have people be turned off by it, so that by the time we got it fixed and usable to the point that we and you, the reader, felt that it was worth having, people would be turned off and not want to look into it. So it's something that may happen down the road. It may not. It will depend on how things shake out in the world of app development, and how it ties in, with the course of our business. Because again, we are business, so it's got to be cost effective for us as well. And again, we want to make sure that would be a quality product that we put out for people who would want to take advantage of us having a mobile app. Again, don't forget to, if you've got questions about the news industry, about things going on in and around the region, feel free to submit them in the comments. Just comment on Facebook or YouTube. If you're watching there, you could also send us a message on Facebook. You can email us anytime at news@yourdailylocal.com. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what's happening. If you've got a story idea, welcome to those suggestions as well. Again, we're a two-man crew here in Warren County, and so it's not able to get to everywhere all the time. We only can be in certain places at one time. So if you've got things happening or going on, or know of something that might pique our interest, might pique our readers' interest, feel free to reach out to us, news@yourdailylocal.com, and let us know what's going on. All right, with that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more Ask Me Anything as White Cane Coffee presents Coffee and a Conversation.
You know what would make that better? A cup of White Cane coffee.
Wow, that really is great coffee.
White Cane coffee, because every cup makes a difference.
It's not just about music lessons. It's about hard work, perseverance, dedication, self-expression, making memories. Let's make memories together.
And welcome back as White Cane Coffee presents Coffee and a Conversation. This week it's a special Ask Me Anything edition. Brian Hagberg with you here on Your Daily Local. And again, if you have questions about the community, about the news industry, about things that we're doing, pretty much anything, go ahead and submit those questions in the comments on Facebook or YouTube. Send us a Facebook message, and I will do my best to get your question or questions, as it were, answered here on the air. Another question coming in, asking how credentials work for media members in general. Is it any different for us as a digital only outlet versus print? More or less difficult? Credentialing is an interesting topic. I mean, you'll see people with press passes at events and things like that all the time. For the most part, unless the event organizer requires credentialing and requires that you inform them ahead of time that you're coming and get credentialed through them. It's not required to have a press pass to be a working member of the press. It is strongly encouraged in a lot of cases, especially if you're going into areas, where there's potential for conflict. It's wise to go in there very clearly identified as a member of the working press, because again, that way, if you get caught up in things or there are people around you and you're documenting, again, especially in today's world, in the age of cell phones and videos and things like that, it seems if you go somewhere, something's happening, there's 20 people standing around with a cell phone filming it. And especially in those instances, it's a very good idea to have yourself clearly identified as a member of the working press. We've seen occasionally throughout the years. Sometimes that doesn't seem to matter, but those are the instances again, where there's potential for conflict or things of that nature. Requirements in order to be credentialed, because then they'll have those events typically will have a media box or a specific area set aside for the working press, and you can't get into that area if you haven't gotten yourself credentialed. I know there are a lot of trade organizations that will offer credentials. It just gives you a little more solid footing when you tell somebody, "Hey, I'm press. I have this press pass." But the reality is, for everyday things, they're not necessary. As long as you identify yourself as working press, that's part of the beauty of the First Amendment. But again, it's a good idea. The process really, it depends on who you're getting credentialed through, and a lot of places. For example, if you're a member of a trade organization that offers credentials, typically you would go through your organization. So, for example, if I wanted to get a press pass for myself through a trade organization, Your Daily Local would be the member, and then we would send as an organization names, photos, titles, etc., and they would put that into their database, print the pass, and send it back to us. It's a fairly fairly simple process. And again, it's for a lot of places, it's nice to have, because it just, people see that okay, you've got a press pass, go ahead. I can say honestly, in the almost 15 years that I've been doing this now, I've only been questioned on whether or not I was actually working press one time, and that was for a playoff game up in Erie, and this was, oh man, 6 or 7 years ago now, and again, it was more or less lack of communication from between the people working the gate, and then the ticket taker at the door to the venue. They were stamping the hand or something like that, and they just went through, and the person at the gate checking hands for stamps said, "Well, you don't have a stamp," and I tried to explain, I'm working press, and I mean, again, years and years ago, if you showed up in an event and you had a big bulky camera and a notepad, it's a pretty good chance you were press. But again, with so many of those things becoming so readily available now, that's not necessarily the giveaway that it used to be in the past, or had been in the past. So again, all of that to say, it's a fairly simple process for the most part. If you want to go and document it, for a website, for your social media channel, whatever, just reach out to the event organizers, see what requirements they have. If you want to go man on the street and do the same and be a reporter, it's nice, but not necessary. So again, kind of a long-winded answer to the question of the process of credentialing. But again, appreciate the question. Those are the kind of things that sometimes people will ask, and we get that a lot. "Oh, I always wondered about this. How does this work?" And we are we are happy to answer those questions again for anybody who has them. Feel free, if you see us out at places, strike up a conversation. We're very easy to talk to and happy to answer those questions. Again, if you have questions right now about things going on in and around the region, just put them in the comments either on Facebook or YouTube. You can always email us at news@yourdailylocal.com. Again, not just during this broadcast, but anytime. If you have questions or story ideas, feel free to reach out to us, news@yourdailylocal.com. You can also send us a Facebook message if that's easier. We're happy to answer any questions that you have. And with that, we'll take another quick break and be back set to answer your questions as long as you have them here on Coffee and a Conversation presented by White Cane Coffee.
You know what would make that better? A cup of White Cane coffee.
Wow, that really is great coffee.
White Cane coffee, because every cup makes a difference.
It's not just about music lessons. It's about hard work, perseverance, dedication, self-expression, making memories. Let's make memories together.
And welcome back into the cafe as White Cane Coffee presents Coffee and a Conversation. This is a special Ask Me Anything edition. You got a question, go ahead and submit it in the comments section. Just submit your comment, and I will do my best to get those questions answered. Oh, excuse me. Just as quickly as I can here. And thanks, Mom. Yeah, I would love an assistant. But the pay at this point in time is you might get a cup of coffee. So, oh, excuse me. But yes, go ahead. Submit your comments. Just use that. Submit a comment on Facebook in the broadcast here, and I will get a chance to answer it. Lots going on in and around the region. Obviously, still a lot of contention going on within City Council about the proposed senior housing project and how that's moving forward, and some folks taking exception to the way things are going to be done. And interesting to see that it's prompted a write-in campaign here coming up to challenge one of those council members for their seat. But those are the things that, for us organizationally, we love to see people stepping up and getting involved and exercising their rights, and not, this is not to endorse anybody in any way or shape or form. Please don't take it that way. But again, one of the things that we would like to do or like to see is just people getting more involved. It's discouraging at times to go to some of these, council meetings or township meetings or school board meetings or commissioner meetings or, whatever. And, outside of the governing body, we might be the only ones there. And that's something that really, as a community, we need to figure out a way to be better. We have to get involved, and we have to get regularly involved. It can't just be, city council's doing something I don't like, so I'm going to show up and make a big stink about it. And then whenever that decision is made, whether you agree with the final decision or not, once that decision is made, then don't show up again. Stay involved, get involved, stay involved. I get it. I understand as well as anybody. It can be difficult to get to a lot of these meetings, but so many people, I think, don't fully grasp that that's where most of the decisions that affect your day-to-day lives are being made. It's not in the White House. It's not in the Capitol building. It's not even in Harrisburg for the most part. So many of the things that impact your day-to-day life are happening right here at the local level, and you have every availability to get involved. We're trying to push a lot of these bodies to, live stream their meetings, record their meetings, so people can go back and watch them later in case they miss it. Because you shouldn't have to wait a month to see minutes that then maybe somebody asks for a correction or isn't, necessarily verbatim, and you don't fully understand what's going on. And we want to push every governing body, be as transparent as you possibly can be. Put every resolution that you're going to be discussing on your agenda, link to it on your website, put the information out there so people have it at their disposal. There's nothing hurt by it. There's nothing that somebody can come back and say, well, you made this decision. No, this was a resolution that was on the agenda, and then here's how the governing body voted on. There is absolutely nothing ever that will be hurt by being transparent and by giving people as much information as you can possibly give them as early as you can give it to them. So again, that's something that we've stressed and pushed to every governing body that we've gone and covered, and will continue to do so, because that's really the way it should be. If you want an engaged community, you've got to give them the information to be engaged. So legitimate question here coming in. How do you maintain neutrality when dealing with hot issues? Our job, first and foremost, is to report the facts. Does everybody get quoted on every story? No, obviously not. But for example, if there's a hot button issue and you've got one person saying one thing and one person saying another thing, our job in that instance is to say, okay, here's what this person said, and here's what this person said, and there you have it. And this is, if it's something that can be, if there's a fact or piece of information that's important to the conversation, you add that as well. But when you're reporting the news story, it's here's what happened, here's what was said, here's who said it, and that's it. There's times where we have penned editorials dealing with topics, and that's the place where, if we're going to interject an opinion, that's where it gets done. And we're very, very clear every time about, this is an opinion, this is an editorial, what have you. And it's different from the news story that we report on. As a reporter, you've got to set your personal feelings aside sometimes, and just again report on what was said and what the facts are. And there are times where we've also, and somebody says something, and we will report on it because that's what they said as part of their argument for defending whatever position it is they took on whatever issue. Now, if whatever it was that they said was inaccurate or not factual, putting in an editor's note or following the quote with, okay, for example, the best way I can explain this. So, for example, let's say, two people are arguing over the cost of a loaf of bread, and one person is saying they feel like bread has gotten far more expensive than it ever used to in the past, and the other person is saying, well, no, it's just keeping up with inflation. And so today the loaf of bread costs $1, and the person who thinks it's been increasing rapidly says, well, just 5 years ago, a loaf of bread only cost me 25 cents. Well, if in reality, 5 years ago, a loaf of bread cost 50 cents, we would add that as in 2018, a loaf of bread cost 50 cents. That's not, there are people who will see that as being biased. It's not, it's reporting a fact. The biggest way is that, facts don't have feelings. And, so many people talk about, both sidesing things, making sure each side is represented. A lot of times the truth has one side. Sometimes the truth has five sides. There's not always two sides to the truth. And our job is to get to the truth and report the truth. And for us to look at the whole picture and say, okay, this is what happened and who said it and when, and this was the context of where and when they said it. If there's additional information that we can add, we will. But again, as long as it's all factual, truth and the facts don't have bias. They are by very nature neutral. And just because somebody doesn't agree with it doesn't mean it's biased. But again, got a rather long-winded answer to what probably should have been a very simple question. But that is how we will approach those kind of things. Again, if it's something that's vitally important and we feel strongly enough that maybe things should go a certain way, then in those instances we'll pen an editorial, and again make it very, very clear that this is an editorial and an opinion that we hold and not to be construed as a straight news piece. So all right, one more 15-second break. If you've got questions, now is the time. We'll come right back and either start answering some more questions or wrap up this edition of Coffee and a Conversation. We'll be right back here on Your Daily Local.
Providing a great cup of coffee and a better life for the blind and disabled. White Cane Coffee, because every cup makes a difference.
Welcome back into the cafe as White Cane Coffee presents Coffee and a Conversation, special Ask Me Anything edition this week. And don't forget that the White Cane Coffee Cafe is open in the plaza across from Topside. So folks come in while we were on the air, picking up a fresh cup and some delicious baked goods. I got myself some Dragon Roast here this morning. And scones, cinnamon rolls available. Now have Danishes as well here at the cafe. And don't forget, come in and join the Mug Club. Get yourself a engraved tumbler. $25 gets you the tumbler and a full tumbler full of coffee. Bring that tumbler back and you get 50% off every refill as part of the White Cane Coffee Mug Club. If you can't get down here to the cafe, that's no problem. White Cane is also available on DoorDash. Just place your order. Have your favorites delivered right to your door. You can also order your favorite roast and brew at home online at whitecanecoffee.com. And if you're heading out to Trail Fest, the coffee bus, re-energize yourself with some White Cane Coffee. So last call for questions. Again, just submit a comment. Send us an email to news@yourdailylocal.com, and we will do, or I will do the questions answered for you here before we go off the air. Again, last call for either questions in the comments or through Facebook Messenger, or send us via email, again, to news@yourdailylocal.com. And we'll give it everybody who's participated here in this special Ask Me Anything edition. And again, this is part of our approach to making ourselves better. The more we know what it is you want to know, the better we can go out and cover things and report the news and bring you the news you need when you need it. Again, all of our content at yourdailylocal.com is available for free. We also have an email newsletter you can subscribe to, or just click the subscribe to our newsletter button on yourdailylocal.com, enter your email address, get our newsletter delivered right to your inbox. And For those of you who may be so inclined, again, our content is free. We don't ask for subscriptions. We don't have member prices, but we do have a support us button on yourdailylocal.com if you're so inclined. This region is rapidly on its way to becoming a news desert. We're going to do everything that we possibly can in our power to stop that from happening, but we can't do it alone. We need your help. What's it worth to you to have local news reported by local journalists who live here and are part of the community? Is it worth $5 a month or worth $10 a month? Just click that support our journalism button on yourdailylocal.com and give what you feel is appropriate. And also talk to your employers and business owners throughout the area and let them know you want to see their businesses advertised on yourdailylocal.com as low as $100 a month. Again, just imagine what we could do if we had 100 businesses doing just $100 a month in advertising. We'd be able to bring you all kinds of new and improved ways of getting you the news here on Your Daily Local. Again, do want to thank everybody for watching and for all the comments and questions that were submitted. Not seeing anything new come in the last minute or so, so we are going to wrap it up here on this edition of Coffee and a Conversation presented by White Cane Coffee. Don't forget to tune in every weekday morning at 8:30 a.m. for your morning cup of news fueled by White Cane Coffee, and every Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. as White Cane Coffee presents Coffee and a Conversation. That'll do it today. Brian Hagberg for Your Daily Local saying thank you so much for watching and have a great weekend, everyone.
Know what would make that better? A cup of White Cane coffee.
Wow, that really is great coffee.
White Cane coffee, because every cup makes a difference.
It's not just about music lessons. It's about hard work, perseverance, dedication, self-expression, making memories. Let's make memories together.